everybody, welcome back into Cherry Picking. Today's video must add Week 8, as always, presented by FanDuel Canada, North America's #1 sportsbook. The link is in the description to download that app today. A little bit of a different episode, remote, not in the studio today, actually traveling in Calgary, but still got to get those players to add out to you guys. Really fun week in the NHL coming up. Tons of games. I believe it's Wednesday or Thursday. There's 15 games in the NHL. I believe the only team not playing is Utah. So this week, it'd be easier to tell you guys which teams are not playing 4 games, because it seems like almost every team is playing 4 games. The Sabres, the Blackhawks, the Blue Jackets, the Oilers are playing 2 games. The Penguins, the Blues, Leafs, and Utah all play less than 4 games. Every other team that I didn't list plays 4 games this week. So tons of opportunity definitely on the waiver wire if you need guys. Definitely drop those comments below, like and subscribe, and let's get into the players we're going to add for this week. All right, so the first guy we're going to be picking up is Kiefer Sherwood on the Vancouver Canucks. Now 34% rostered. I'm surprised it's already gotten this high, but obviously it makes sense now with JT Miller stepping away from the team for personal reasons. Brock Besser's still hurt. Apart from Garland, who's also kind of dealing with some injuries, he is definitely the best pickup. He had 7 shots on goal in their most recent game, or that last game against the Rangers on Tuesday night. He has 2 goals and 3 points in his last 3 games. Last 2 games played about 17 minutes as well. He's playing on the first line. He's playing on the second power play, and he's playing on the second penalty kill. The biggest reason we want to pick him up here, one of the biggest draws, Elias Pettersson, is his line mate on the first power play, on the first line, and on the penalty kill as well. Pettersson also plays on the second penalty kill. Pettersson, obviously, incredible playmaker, but the ability for him to create offense on his own and score on his own is also going to help Kiefer Sherwood, because he'll get some assists off of that as well. So, as I mentioned, Canucks play 4 games like every other team pretty much next week, so Kiefer Sherwood is a definite add. All right, so the next guy we're picking up on the Islanders, Anders Lee, 24% rostered at that left wing spot. Has had a pretty solid start to the year, 10 points at 5-on-5 within the top 50, but right now definitely has a really good opportunity with, Barzal's already been out for about 2 weeks. Duclair's been out for a little bit longer than that. Neither of those guys has started skating to this point. So he steps up to the first line to play with Horvat and Pajot, also playing on the first power play. This is one of the Nelson line is definitely contributing as well, but this has been the better line since there've been the bulk of the injuries for the New York Islanders. Lee, his last 4 games, he has 3 goals, 1 assist, 10 shots on goal, averaging about 18 minutes of ice time as well. This is a guy that I talked about last year, and he will probably come up on pretty much everyone's fantasy hockey radar at some point within the season, because last year it came up for me as well. He was creating a ton of offense, a guy whose expected goals for number has always been a lot bigger than what he actually scores, just because he's more of a grinder, guys who gets to the front of the net, but he is involved in a lot of offense. Like last year, he was 15th in individual expected goals for, higher than like Connor McDavid. Now, granted, Connor McDavid missed a few games, but if you're looking at expected goals for number, his number was larger than Connor McDavid's. He scored 20 goals last year. The 2 years before that, I believe he scored 28 goals. This year, 7 goals with an individual expected goals for of 9 for his start this year. That expected goals for number is 8th best in the NHL. So he's creating a ton of offense. Crazy that he's still 24% rostered right now, with considering the Islanders' injuries. So if you're in deeper leagues, this is definitely a guy you got to go look at, maybe pick up if he's still available. A guy I'm going to be picking up this week is Karel Vejmelka on the Utah Hockey Club now. I would say now the starting goalie, now that Connor Ingram is officially listed as day-to-day. Not 100% sure with the severity of the injury, but regardless, Connor Ingram also just been so disappointing this season. Vejmelka at 8% rostered is going to be the guy moving forward, in my opinion. And I talked about this at the beginning of the year, that Connor Ingram was due for a very shitty year, considering what happened last season. Led the league, or tied for the league with 2 other guys, I believe, in shutouts, with 6. And if you look at his stats last year through 13 games compared to his first 13 games this year, last year, 9-3 through his first 13 starts. He got pulled in one of the starts. That's why he's missing 1 game there from the 13. 922 save percentage, a 2.52 goals against, 10.4 goals saved above expected, which was second best in the NHL at that time. Through 13 games this season, 13 starts, he's 6-4-3 with an 871 save percentage and a 361 goals against, negative 9.4 goals saved above expected, dead last in the NHL in that stat category. It's not a category you want to be last in. Pretty sure Georgiev was last in that stat for a bulk of the time, but now Connor Ingram has surpassed him since Georgiev started playing a little bit better. That's a really bad number in that stat. Vejmelka, on the other hand, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, he's 1-4. Like, why would you pick him up? Utah sucks." I don't think Utah's that bad, and I think Vejmelka is actually a very good goalie that has just always been on a shit Arizona team and now a little bit better Utah team. Also, look at the teams that Vejmelka has played compared to who Connor Ingram's played. Vejmelka has 7 starts this year, or 7 games he's played in. New Jersey, Ottawa, Colorado, Winnipeg, Carolina, Vegas, and Washington. If I had to guess, 7 of those, or yeah, all 7 of those teams are in the top 8 in creating offense and scoring offense as well. Carolina, Winnipeg, Washington, Colorado, Ottawa, New Jersey, like very good offensive teams. And listen to stats. He's 1-4 with a 2.58 goals against average, which is almost a full point better than Ingram's, and a 915 save percentage, which is much better than Connor Ingram's. He will start to get some wins if he continues to play like this, and I think he will. Really like Karel Vejmelka. Really like what I've seen from him so far, despite all the big number in the loss category. So Vejmelka, best goalie to pick up right now, will probably be the only goalie you'll really warrant a pickup over the next 2 weeks, unless Askarov starts playing unbelievable for San Jose. All right, so I have 2 guys on Seattle that we're actually picking up this week, which is really weird to say, but just hear me out. 2 guys that are less than 5% rostered. Seattle plays 4 games this week. 2 games against Anaheim, 2 games against San Jose. That is like a dream come true matchup for any fantasy hockey player who has players playing in that game. It's kind of shitty at Seattle because they're so brutal offensively, but there's going to be a lot of goals scored for Seattle and probably both teams in that fact. But for Seattle, for sure, because they're playing 2 of the worst defensive teams in the NHL that allow a ton of shots, a lot of opportunities. So who do we pick up? Obviously, McCann. Beniers is available, but you don't want Beniers. McCann, Burakovsky, Montour, those are going to be your main guys, but other guys that can complement, other guys that are playing in similar roles that can maybe get beneficiary points off these guys. Jaden Schwartz, playing on the second line right now with Chandler Stevenson and Daniel Sprong, plays first power play, last 5 games played for him. Him and Chandler Stevenson have led the forward group in ice time, averaging about 20 minutes per game. Schwartz will be a stat stuffer on the stat sheet. He'll fill most games. He'll fill at least 1 on each one. Hits, block shots, shots on goal, a point. So his last 5 games played, he has a goal, 3 assists, and 17 shots. He had a game with like 7 or 6 shots recently, which is insane. So his role looks pretty good right now against Anaheim and San Jose. I think he'll produce. He's 4% rostered. Probably the first guy I'd pick up. If you need goals, you're only looking for goals. Daniel Sprong's the guy you want to pick up. Plays second line with Schwartz and Stevenson, as I mentioned before. Plays on the first power play as well, plays on the point. Just got traded from Seattle. Back to Seattle, I guess you could say. From Vancouver, because he used to play for Seattle as well. Played for Detroit last year. Got drafted by Pittsburgh. He's bounced around. He played on Washington as well. If you don't know Sprong, he's one of the more underrated shooters in the NHL. Mainly because he's such a liability elsewhere is why he's never really stuck on a team. But when he's on the ice, he can score, and his shot is noticed by other players in the NHL. Playing with Schwartz and Stevenson is perfect for him because you have Stevenson, who's a very solid 2-way center, can make up for his mishaps in the defensive zone. And Schwartz is like a do-it-all grinder net front guy who can get him the puck. So he just joined. He scored his first goal for the team in their most recent win against the Predators. In these games, I think he's a trigger man on the NHL or on the power play, considering how good his shot is. So these are 2 guys, depending on what you need, 2 guys you can pick up for Seattle. It's really good streamers, I think, for this week. Really underrated streamers as well. All right, a guy that's 1% rostered that boggles my mind to be 1% rostered is Dmitri Voronkov on the Columbus Blue Jackets, playing on the left wing this season. Last year, played a decent amount of center, I believe. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure he was playing center with Chinikov and Marchenko. He started off the year hurt, but since he's been back, he's been unreal. Crazy, as I mentioned. He's 1% owned because his usage deserves to be in the 15 to 20%, in my opinion. The Columbus factor is a factor, for sure. But still, his last 3 games played, 2 goals, 3 points, 8 shots. Has had some pretty high shot totals over the course of his short career and even this season since he's been back from injury. Columbus does only play 3 games next week, but good matchups. Canadiens, Flames, Blackhawks. Had a ton of success last year. Starting to see the same longevity add if he can stay on that top line with Monahan and Marchenko and the first power play, depending on when other guys maybe come back for Columbus. But I think he will stay within this top 6 at least. And if Columbus has big games or a week where they play 4 games and other teams don't, he is definitely going to be on the top of my list. Very skilled, plays very well with Marchenko. We've seen that over the past 2 years. So really like Voronkov here. All right, so the last guy we're going to talk about, Patrik Laine on the Montreal Canadiens, has started skating. He is 37% rostered right now in Yahoo Fantasy Hockey Leagues. If you don't know what happened to Laine, sprained his left knee after the hit from Cedric Paré in the preseason. Timetable was like 2 to 3 months, I want to say, from September 28th when he got hurt. It's been almost 2 months. He started skating November 6th, skated with the team this past Wednesday, November 20th. Skated alone, but he did skate with the team and doing drills for about 20 minutes as well. He's still probably at least 2 weeks away, I'd say. But if you can just put him on your IR right now, I did that in one of my leagues. I just dropped someone because I needed to drop someone anyway. So I dropped someone, picked up Laine, put him on my IR spot, and then picked up a defenseman, which is what I needed. You can do that too if you have that IR spot available, if he is available in your league. And be like, well, why would you? Like, why not? Like, why not? What if he just comes into Montreal and starts scoring at will? Like, they need someone to kind of do that for Montreal. You know, as this team continues to play this year, I think Laine is going to help them. We've seen him score, even on shitty teams, on Columbus when they've been bad. He has been able to score. I think it's hard to pass him up if he's available in your league right now. You can keep him on LTIR until he comes back. If he's really that shit, you just drop him. But at least you have first dibs on him. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of Fantasy Hockey Must Add Week 8. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to FanDuel Canada for sponsoring the video, and I'll see you guys next time.